Meghan. Even at our wedding, you know that 3 days before our wedding, we got married. No one knows that. But we called the archbishop and we just said, look, this spectacle is for the world, but we want our union between us. Prince Harry, just the three of us. Meghan. The narrative with Kate, which didn't happen, was really difficult, and something that I think that's when everything changed, really. The reverse happened. And I don't say that to be disparaging to anyone, because it was a really hard week of the wedding. And she was upset about something, but she owned it, and she apologized. And she brought me flowers and a note, apologizing. Oprah. So, do you think there was a standard for Kate in general, and a separate one for you? And if so, why? Meghan. I don't know why. I can see now what layers were at play there. And again, they really seem to want a narrative of a hero and a villain. On being silent or being silenced, Meghan. The latter. Everyone in my world was given very clear directive from the moment the world knew Harry and I were dating to always say no comment. That's my friends, my mum and dad. I did anything they told me to do. Of course I did, because it was also through the lens of and well protect you. So, even as things started to roll out in the media that I didn't see, but my friends would call me and say, Meg, this is really bad, because I didn't see it, don't worry. In being protected. On not being protected, Meghan. I think that was really hard to reconcile, because it was only once we were married, and everything started to really worsen, that I came to understand that not only was I not being protected, but that they were willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect me and my husband. Meghan. We had breakfast together that morning, and she had given me a beautiful gift, and I just really loved being in her company. And I remember we were in the car. She gave me some beautiful pearl earrings and a matching necklace. And we were in the car going between engagements, and she has a blanket that sits across her knees for warmth. And it was chilly, and she was like, Meghan, come on, and put it over my knees as well. I think everyone welcomed me. Meghan. I'm talking about things that are super artificial and inconsequential. But the narrative about, making Kate cry, I think, was the beginning of a real character assassination. And they knew it wasn't true. And I thought, well, if they're not going to kill things like that, then what are we going to do? On claims Archie was to be denied security, Meghan. And that was when they were saying they didn't want him to be a prince or a princess, not knowing what the gender would be, which would be different from protocol, and that he wasn't going to receive security. But if you're saying the title is what's going to affect their protection, we haven't created this monster machine around us in terms of clickbait and tabloid fodder. You've allowed that to happen, which means our son needs to be safe. On if the titles are important to her. Meghan, all the grandeur surrounding this stuff is an attachment that I don't personally have, right? I've been a waitress, an actress, a princess, a duchess. I've always just still been Meghan, right? So, for me, I'm clear on who I am, independent of all that stuff. And the most important title I will ever have is Mum. I know that. Meghan on race and the royal family. Meghan, I can give you an honest answer. In those months when I was pregnant, all around this same time, so we have in tandem the conversation of he won't be given security, he's not going to be given a title, and also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born. Oprah, who is having that conversation with you? What? Meghan? There were several conversations about it. Oprah, about how dark your baby is going to be. Meghan, potentially, and what that would mean or look like. Oprah, and now are not going to tell me who had the conversation. Meghan, I think that would be very damaging to them. Meghan, I just didn't see a solution. I just didn't see a solution. I would sit up at night, and I was just like, I don't understand how all of this is being churned out. And, look, I was really ashamed to say it at the time, and ashamed to have to admit it to Harry, especially because I know how much loss has suffered. But I knew that, if I didn't say it, that I would do it. And I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And that was a very clear and real and frightening constant thought. And I remember how he just cradled me. And I went to the institution, and I said that I needed to go somewhere to get help. I said that I've never felt this way before, and I need to go somewhere. And I was told that I can't, that it won't be good for the institution. Oprah. So, were you thinking of harming yourself? Were you having suicidal thoughts? Meghan? Yes. This was very, very clear. Meghan, I think I'm not going to live my life in fear. You know that I think so much of it is said with an understanding of just truth. But I think, to answer your question, I don't know how they could expect that after all of this time, we would still just be silent if there is an active role that the firm is playing in perpetuating falsehoods about us. That at a certain point, you are going to go, but, you guys, someone just tell the truth. And if that comes with risk of losing things, I mean, I've lost, there's a lot that's been lost already. Oprah. for the new addition to your family. Meghan said she wanted to wait until you were here to tell us, is it a boy or is it a girl? Harry: yes. I'm just grateful, like any to have any child. Anyone or any two would have been amazing. But to have a boy, and then a girl, you know that, what more can you ask for? But now, you know that, now we've got our family. We've got, you know that, the 4 of us, and our 2 dogs, and it's great. Oprah: done. 2 is it? Meghan: we didn't have a plan. We needed a house, and he offered security as well, so it gave us breathing room to try to figure out what we are going to do. It's been so spun in the wrong direction, as though we quit, we walked away, all the conversations of the 2 years, before we finally announced it. Harry: yeah, it was desperate. I went to all the places which I thought I should go to ask for help. We both did separately and together. Oprah: so, you left because you were asking for help and couldn't get it? Harry: yeah, basically. But we never left. Meghan: we never left the family, and we only wanted to have the same type of role that exists, right? So, we weren't reinventing the wheel here. We were saying, okay, if this isn't working for everyone, we're in a lot of pain, you can't provide us with the help that we need, we can just take a step back. We can do it in a Commonwealth country. We suggested New Zealand, South Africa. Harry: take a breath. From this constant barrage. My biggest concern was history repeating itself, and I've said that before on numerous occasions, very publicly. And what I was seeing was history repeating itself, but more, perhaps, or definitely far more dangerous, because then you add race in, and you add social media in. And when I'm talking about history repeating itself, I'm talking about my mother. Harry: you know that, as sad as it is to say, it takes living in her shoes in this instance, for a day or those first 8 days, to see where it was going to go, and how far they were going to take it. And get away with it, and be so blatant about it. That's the bit that shocked me. The UK is my home. That is where I was brought up. So, yes, I've got my own relationship that goes back a long way with the media. I asked for calm from the British tabloids once as a boyfriend, once as a husband, and once as a father. Why did Harry and Meghan leave? Harry: lack of support and lack of understanding. Oprah: so, I want clarity. Was the move about getting away from the UK press? Or was the move because you weren't getting enough support from the firm? Oprah: did you blindside the Queen? Harry: no. I've never blindsided my grandmother. I have too much respect for her. My grandmother has been amazing throughout. You know that my father, my brother, Kate and all the rest of the family, they were really welcoming. But it really changed after the Australia tour, after our South Pacific tour. Harry on his relationship with Prince Charles Harry, when we were in Canada. I had 3 conversations with my grandmother and 2 conversations with my father, and before he stopped taking my calls and then said, you put this all in writing what your plan is. I put all the specifics in there, even the fact that we were planning on putting the announcement out on the 7th of January. Oprah. So, you just said that your dad stopped taking your calls. Why did he stop taking your calls, Harry? Because I took matters into my own hands. It was like, I need to do this for my family. This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's gotten to this point, but I've got to do something for my own mental health, my wife's, and for Archie's as well, because I could see where this was headed. Harry's claim that his family is scared of the press. Harry, no from my family ever said anything over those 3 years. And that hurts. I also am acutely aware of where my family stand and how scared they are of the tabloids turning on them. Yes, but there is this invisible what's termed or referred to as the invisible contract behind closed doors between the institution and the tabloids, the UK. Tabloids.On being trapped in royal life. Oprah. How were you trapped, Harry? Trapped within the system, like the rest of my family are. My father and my brother, they're trapped. They don't get to leave.And. I have huge compassion for that. Harry. Yeah, it exists. But also, the Netflix and the Spotify, all that was never part of the plan. Harry, we didn't have a plan. That was suggested by somebody else, by the point of where my family literally cut me off financially, and I had to afford security for us. Oprah. Wait. Hold up. Wait a minute. Your family cut you off, Harry? Yeah, in the first half, the first quarter of 2020. But I've got what my mum left me, and without that, we would not have been able to do this. Harry. I've spoken more to my grandmother in the last year than I have done for many, many years. We did a couple of Zoom calls with Archie. My grandmother and I have a really good relationship. Oprah. Your relationship with your father. Is he taking your calls now, Harry? Yeah. Yeah, he is. There's a lot to work through there. You know that I feel really let down because he's been through something similar. He knows what pain feels like, and this is, and Archie's his grandson. At the same time, you know that I will always love him, but there's a lot of hurt that's happened. And I will continue to make it one of my priorities to try and heal that relationship. Oprah. Yeah.And your brother. Relationship. Much has been said about that. Harry. Yeah, and much will continue to be said about that. You know that, as I've said before, I love William to bits. Hes my brother. We've been through hell together. I mean, we have a shared experience. But you know that we're on different paths. Apostrophe Harry. I'm sad that what's happened has happened, but I know and am comfortable in knowing that we did everything that we could to make it work. And we did everything on the exit process the way that it should have been done. On taking away his patronages, Harry, I am hurt. But at the same time, I completely respect my grandmother's decision. I would still love for us to be able to continue to support those associations, albeit without the title or the role. Meghan. I have one. My regret is believing them when they said I would be protected. I believed that. And I regret believing that because I think, had I really seen that wasn't happening, I would have been able to do more. But I think I wasn't supposed to see it. I wasn't supposed to know. And now, because we're actually on the other side, we've actually not just survived but are thriving.